is the story of Mr. Strong. Mr. Strong is the strongest person in the whole wide world. The strongest person that ever has been, and probably the strongest person that ever will be. He is so strong that he can not only bend an iron bar with his bare hand, he can climb it. Mr. Strong is so strong, he can throw a cannonball as far as you
Mr. Strong is so strong he can hammer nails into a wall, just like techno.
Strong by name, strong by nature. I would like to know the secret of Mr. Strong's strength. Eggs. The more eggs Mr. Strong eats, stronger he becomes. Stronger and stronger and stronger. Anyway, this story is about a funny thing that happened to Mr. Strong one day. That morning he was having breakfast. And for breakfast he was having eggs, followed by eggs, and finished he was having guess what? That's right. Egg. That was Mr. Strong's all breakfast. Mr. Strong emptied the upside-down bar. One knob in the place here, the next minute, you're gone. And I will throw it out again.
Really sad. That was upsetting. I'm coping. I rolled with a punch. You know? And it turns out the Dawn can do a lot of it anyway, so.
Oh, I'm sure there's plenty of time for this later. I'll give you some of this.
Oh, sorry. Is that anyway? No, you can put something down there. So move that. Do that. Stupid. Get UK manager of the month inside techno. And full of dark face. Typical.
Quite young, yeah.
Photogenic, sort of natural.
18 months old, so.
I mean, to throw that. I've got it out today to throw it away, definitely. Inside the big bit.
That's what we're seeing on the left side. There's a linear combination of, I multiplied by some numbers. That's what we're seeing on the left side. It's a linear combination of a linear combination, and I want to make those numbers right on the left side to produce a linear combination of the column. Now I want to draw a picture. That's what we're seeing on the left side. It's a linear combination of, this is algebra, what's the geometry, that's what we're seeing on the left side. It's a linear combination. These vectors have two components, so I better. That's what we're seeing on the left side. It's a linear combination of, so can I put down these columns? I'll draw these columns on the left as they are. A linear combination of, do a combination of the columns. So the first column, that's what we're seeing on the left over side. The linear combination of, so there's the first column. That's what we're seeing on the left side. The linear combination of the column, the vector 2 minus 1. That's what we're seeing on the left side. The linear combination of over minus 1 is the first component and left 2. The linear combination of the column. There's column 2. That's what we're seeing on the left side. The linear combination of, see what the components are. That's what we're seeing on the left side. It's a linear combination of, now what is the column? That's what we're seeing on the left side. It's a linear combination of, what's the column? That's what we're seeing that's easy. The matrix form, what's our matrix A? Our matrix A is this right-hand side, the 2 and the -1 and the 0 from the first row, the -1 and the 2 and the -1 from the second row, the 0, the -3, and the 4 from the third row. So it's a 3 by 3 matrix. 3 equations, 3 unknowns. And what's our right-hand side? Of course, it's the vector 0, -1, 4. Okay, so that's the way, well, that's the shorthand to write out the 3 equations. But it's the picture that I'm looking for today. Okay, so the row picture. All right, so I'm in 3 dimensions, x, y, and z. And I want to take those equations one at a time and make a picture of all the points that satisfy. Let's take equation number 2. If I make a picture of all the points that satisfy, all the x, y, z points that solve this equation, well, first of all, the origin is not one of them. X, Y, Z being 0, 0, 0 would not solve that equation. So what are some points that do solve the equation? Let's see, maybe if x is 1, y and z could be 0. That would work, right? So there's 1 point. I'm looking at this second equation there, just to start with. Let's see, also I guess if z could be 1, x and y could be 0, so that would just go straight up that axis. And probably I want a third point here. Let me say x to be 0. Say x to be 0, z to be 0, then y would be -1/2, right? So there's a third point. Let's see. I want to put in all the points that satisfy that equation. Do you know what that bunch of points will be? It's a plane. If we have a linear equation, then the point equation, the matter, the plot of all the points that solve it are a plane. So I treat these 3 points as very a plane. successfully found the point where the 3 the roll picture consists of 3 planes, and if everything works right, 3 planes meet in 1 point, and that's the solution. Now, you can tell I prefer the column picture. Okay, so let me take the column picture. That's x times, so there were 2 x's in the first equation, minus 1 x's, I'm just taking, and no x's in the third. It's just the first column of that. And how many y's are there? There's minus 1 in the first equation, 2 in the second, and maybe minus 3 in the third. Just the second column of my matrix. And z times no z's, minus 1 z's, and 4. And it's those 3 columns, right, that I have to combine to produce the right-hand side, which is 0, minus 1, 4. That's what we're seeing on the left side. It's a linear combination. So what have we got on this left-hand side? A linear combination. It's a linear combination now of 3 vectors, and they happen to be, each one is a 3-dimensional vector. On the left. So we want to know what combination of those 3 vectors produces that. That's what we're seeing. So I try to draw the column picture combination of the column. Since these vectors have 3 components, that's what we're seeing. So it's some multiple. Let me draw in the first column as before. So since these vectors have 3 components, 2 and y is minus 1. Maybe there's the first column. So since these vectors have 3 components, what we're seeing. So it's y. The second column has maybe a minus 1 and a 2 and the y's and minus 3, somewhere there possibly. Column 2, since these vectors have 3 and the third column has no 0, minus 1, 4. Since these vectors have 3 components, so how should I draw that? Nothing in here. First component, the second component, minus 1. Maybe up here. That's column 3, that's
you big city race cars ever just take a drive? Don't you big city race cars ever just take a drive? Don't you big city race cars ever just take a drive? Don't you big city race cars ever just take a drive? Don't you big city race cars ever just take a drive? Don't you big city race cars ever just take a drive? Don't you big city race cars just thrive? Don't you big city race cars just take a drive? Don't you big city race cars ever just thrive? Don't you big city race cars just take a drive? Don't you big city race cars ever just take a drive? Don't you big city race cars ever just take a drive? Don't you big city race cars ever just take a drive?